The cool thing about this series is it is multiple things. It is epic fantasy, it is political intrigue, it is coming of age, it's sword and soul fantasy, it is Afro fantasy, it's Afrofuturism, it is a family story, it is a generational story. So it has all these things that I think a great deal of people can come in and find something that they all enjoy.
Hey everyone, and welcome. I am Morgan Giss McDonald, founder, CEO of Paper Raven Books, and I have with us today a super special guest. If you love a good binge read novel and you like some action, some adventure, some deep characters, you are going to want to stay tuned for this one. We are talking about book one in a brand new series. The book is called The Kimoni Legacy Initiation. And I have with us today author Omari Richards. Omari, thank you for being here.
Hi, Morgan. Thanks for having me.
Of course. Well, I'm super excited to let our community know about this brand new book that you are releasing, because you've got some amazing characters, this whole world building experience. So I'm wondering, maybe you can start us off with just letting us know, like, okay, who do we get to meet in the beginning of this book and what's happening?
Okay, that's no problem. At the start of the book, you meet three characters, Kamau, Maslow, and Raziya. They are three siblings of the influential Kimoni clan who rule over the Kitwana Savanna, a vast span of grassland that holds rivers, mountains, canyons, and it's very strategically important. And all three of them are on the cusp of adulthood. Rather, two of them are on the cusp of adulthood, with Kamau, the younger brother, at 15, about to start his rite of passage. Raziya, the only girl and the youngest, is about to be married off against her will. And the eldest brother, Maslow, who is a recognized man in their community, and he is charged with defending the land against invaders. At the start of the book, we find him right before holding off a raid, and then the raid is a lot bigger than he expected. So that's where we start.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so we get right into the thick of the action, which I always love. And so how would you sort of like characterize this book? I said, talked about adventure and things like that. How else might you kind of describe the Kimoni legacy?
Well, for me, the cool thing about this series is it is multiple things. It is epic fantasy, it is political intrigue, it is coming of age, it's sword and soul fantasy, it is Afro fantasy, it's Afrofuturism, it is a family story, it is a generational story. So it has all these things that I think a great deal of people can come in and find something that they all enjoy.
Yeah, I love that. So, okay, and this is setting up. So this is book one, this is initiation, and there are more books to come. Can you tell us a little bit about kind of the world that you're really building inside of the Kimoni legacy, and what kinds of like themes you're exploring with your characters in this world that they live in?
So the Kimoni legacy primarily takes place on this continent known as Nahwalla. And Nahwalla is a place filled with various political factions, tribes, clans, kingdoms, feuds, alliances, magic, monsters, both hidden and present. And many of the clans have developed societies, have developed creeds, have developed methods of not only surviving in this environment, but thriving. And because those methods are so key to survival, they're very ingrained into the community. So if you veer off in any way against these creeds, these codes, these legacies, you're going to be ostracized. You're going to be distrusted. You are just going to have a difficult time. So the Kimoni legacy primarily focuses on the three characters, Kamau, Raziya, and Maslow, because each of them stray from the Kimoni's creed in different ways. Kamau, he's trying to find his way, he's trying to follow the creed, but circumstances always force him to kind of improvise and go a different way. And, the elders don't really like it because they say, you were supposed to go right, you went left. What happened? And Raziya wants to continue her education, but as a girl in a primarily medieval society, obviously she has more value in who she marries as opposed to what she can accomplish on her own. And Maslow Kimoni, the eldest brother, he has been fighting all of his life to protect the land, but he's never been able to create a life for himself. So the one time he wants to do something for himself, the elders are saying, no, you have to continue defending the land pretty much until we tell you to stop, which is never. So they're all trying to find their way, find where they themselves belong in this community. And if there's a way to reconcile with what they want and what their community and society wants.
Thank you for setting that all up for us. And I love that you have three main characters that we get to follow, and each of them is a little bit, I heard it when you were describing them, like a little bit trapped by the society that they live in, their personal circumstances, but kind of trapped in different ways. And so we get to watch each of them kind of like find their own way that's different than maybe their parents, their families, their community would have expected. And so you get to explore a lot more kind of themes, because you got kind of, like young woman, education, but marriage, the young, the young 15-year-old who, keeps being put into those circumstances where he's like, wait, I'm going to do something different. And then the brother that's trying to follow the way. And it's like, well, that's a dead end. And so that's one of the things I love about this kind of world building. And you have, such a rich world Kitwana is, you've already kind of alluded to it here, like all of the different like culture and geography, even, right at the top that sets up kind of all those political intrigues. I'm curious, Omari, did you have like any different inspirations for characters or worlds as you were writing this book?
Oh yes, several. My primary inspiration comes from the Epic of Sunjata, which is a Mali folktale slash legend slash history about the founding of the Mali Empire through this legendary historical figure, Sunjata Keita. And his story, it's debatable how much of the epic is actually true. A lot of it is deemed as symbolic and metaphorical, but he basically went on this epic journey to become one of the first kings of the Mali Empire. So that was a major inspiration. Another inspiration was a historical figure called Nana Asma'u, who was an influential poet, religious figure within the Sokoto Caliphate in northern Nigeria. She was married when she was 13, like Raziya, but she became an educated woman, and she fostered education within women within her communities. And she became a scholar, a poet, and just an overall extremely influential figure within the Sokoto northern Nigerian area. So those were two of my primary inspirations. There's a lot more, but we'd be here for another 4 hours.
I love that. And it's always helpful for me as a reader when I'm kind of getting into a new series to know kind of what inspired the author. Sometimes I like to go read those books too, or those legends, just because you start to like really see, almost feel like that depth, that richness of the world too. So yeah, thanks for sharing those with us. Yeah, so folks, if you're here and you're like, holy moly, this sounds like my kind of book, good news is ebook is actually on promotion right now. So as we're speaking, the book is launching, the series is launching. And so if you want to dive in right now, good news is you can grab that ebook on promotion and load it up on your Kindle or your app. You just go to paperravenbooks.com/The Kimoni Legacy. And that's all one word. And you can just click the link right next to this video. That'll take you straight over to Amazon. You can grab that ebook right now and dive in and know that more books are coming, are on the way. And I'm curious, Omari, what has writing this book been like for you? Like, this has been, sort of a long time in the making, and then to sit down and start actually writing the book, what's that process been like for you?
It's been basically trial and error. I really don't know how else to describe it. Trial and error and perseverance, because I started the story when I was 15 years old. And since then, it's gone through so many different incarnations. I can't even begin to fully describe the entire process. But for the most part, the process has just been teaching myself how I want to write and what I want to do when I write. So it's really been about where am I at my most creative? Where can I hear the characters the most clearly? Where can I see the plot the most clearly? So I just created rituals for myself. Write in the morning, listen to this music, sit here, only write for this period of time, and only write to this page or this word count and call it a day, come back in the morning and jot down whatever notes you have in your phone or in a notebook. Do not go back after you finish writing for the day because you'll just keep doubting yourself. So that has been my process.
Thank you for sharing that, because I think it's helpful for people to know that I think there's some sort of like misconception that if you want to write a book, it has to like consume your entire life. And when I hear you talk about your rhythms, it sounds like you've added constraints around it. It's like, I'm going to write in the morning. Here's my music. Here's where I sit. I'm going to write to this page and then we're done, and so it's a little bit more manageable to say, I could actually plan this book out. And, you and I first started talking about this book, I don't know, last year sometime, and like just steadily, like week after week, month after month, it's just come together. And so I'm sure you had so many notes and, as you said, different versions and variations on that. But when you sort of, when we talked, you said, okay, this book is happening, like we're going to publish next year and it's happening. Like you really did sort of create that writing rhythm to methodically plod along and get it done. And I think that can be very encouraging for other folks to hear too. So yeah, is there anything that you'd like people to know as they are diving into the Kimoni legacy?
If you're looking for a book that is primarily about transition between periods of time, whether you're a young adult going into adulthood, an adult that's that's struggling to face up to the societal expectations placed on you, or just someone who's looking for an entertaining fantasy story, I think you will find something that you will enjoy in the book because it really dives into the themes of adulthood, how society shapes our perception of that adulthood, the things you have to do to be accepted as an adult, what happens if you meet those expectations. And it hopefully offers you a way to meet the expectations you put on yourself and then society through these characters.
It's so good. Folks, if you're here, you're watching, you're listening, this book is for you. Go ahead and grab a copy right now, paperravenbooks.com/the Kimoni legacy, all one word, or just click the link right next to this video. It'll take you over to Amazon. You can grab that ebook while it's on promotion. And if you know someone who would also enjoy a book like this, as Omari said, you've got everything from coming of age and epic fantasy to political intrigue, all kind of rolled into one incredible world building adventure. So if you know someone who likes this kind of book, then go ahead and tag them or share this video with them, and then you can have a reading buddy. It would be amazing. So grab your ebook right now, load up on your Kindle, and get it ready for this next weekend. And this is the first book in the series. So you can go ahead and dive in and know that there is more to come from all of our favorite folks at Kitwana. So thank you so much, Omari, for being here and for sharing with us. And we're super excited about the Kimoni legacy.
Glad to hear it. Thank you for having me.
All right, folks, grab that book and we will see you next time. Bye, everybody.